I want to address what I think is the biggest lie of the holidays. And this comes from something personal. I was just reading that commercial there for American Financing. And I remember when I couldn't put anything on my credit card. Because I learned from my parents, only American Express. It forces you to pay it off every month so you can't get behind. So I've never carried another credit card. And been spooked by credit cards my whole life because my parents cut them up and threw them in the fireplace because, they went broke. And I didn't have any money. And I was living in the same apartment building that Stu was living in. And you were what, 19 years old, 18 years old?
Yeah, something like that.
He started as an intern. And I, who was the host of the morning show, was living in the same apartment complex, okay? Broke. I think he actually had more money. I was living off of food certificates that the radio station would give away, okay? And I remember the first Christmas like that. And I couldn't afford anything for my kids. Anything. And it was devastating. And the whole buildup, all I could think of is, you're such a worthless dad. You're such a worthless. What do you do? I mean, you can't afford the cheapest of the cheap. And it bothered me deeply. And in fact, 10 years later, when I had turned my life around and had become successful, I went out and I bought everything I could think of for my kids. It was the most hollow Christmas I've ever had. The Christmas that I was broke, I actually remember that, and so do the kids. They remember that Christmas. None of my kids remember the one where the presents were plentiful. And I just remember after all the presents were open, how empty everything felt. The biggest lie is that you have to buy something for Christmas. The biggest lie, hang on, I've got an ad coming up in a second. The biggest lie is that you have to go to a store or go online. That's a lie. And we've gotten so far away from it, it plays on us because now our kids expect that. Because that's what they see. That's what Christmas has become. Our founders would have been abhorred by what Christmas has turned into. Christmas was so sacred around the time of the founding that you wouldn't have gone and taken off work. It was so sacred, you kept that quiet, personal. It was your personal connection with God and the birth of his son. And so everybody would go to church, but it wasn't like it is now. That's an American thing. One of the things that I think that we have really gone wrong on is we have lost the true meaning of Christmas and exchanged it for presents. Please, whether you have the ability or don't have the ability, remember the true meaning of Christmas. It's not in a package or a bag. It's from the heart and from Christ.